Have you ever wondered if there's more to your birth date than just a number on the calendar? What if the answer to your divine purpose has been written from the very beginning, right there in your birth date? For many, this is a shocking reality. Certain birth dates aren't coincidences. They carry deep spiritual significance, indicating that you might be one of God's chosen. Imagine discovering that your birthday isn't just a celebration, but a sign that you've been called for something greater. While many overlook this truth, few have the chance to unveil it. In this video, we'll explore what Jesus taught about this and how these dates can reveal surprising clues about your role in the divine plan. Get ready, because what you're about to discover could completely change the way you see your life. There are birth dates that seem to carry a divine purpose, aren't there? After all, January 1st, March 3rd, May 5th, July 7th, September 9th, and December 25th aren't just numbers on the calendar. These dates could represent more than coincidences, bringing with them special traits like leadership, creativity, and wisdom. Those born on these dates might feel a deeper connection with these traits, and may have already noticed that their journey is filled with divine signs. Take a look around. How many times have you seen these characteristics playing a role in your life? Imagine a natural-born leader born on January 1st, always called to make important decisions from a young age. Or that creative person born on May 5th, whose mind never stops generating innovative ideas. These dates, in many cases, seem to be intertwined with the mission that God has laid out for each individual. After all, how often do we hear stories of people unknowingly following a path that aligns with their birth dates? Perhaps you've experienced this yourself without realizing it. Throughout history, we see how people born on these dates stand out in impressive ways. Think of those born on July 7th, for example, who always strive for perfection in everything they do. The spirituality surrounding the number 7 runs deep, and its presence in various cultures and religions reinforces the idea that these dates hold something special. It's not a mere coincidence, but a series of events that lead us to believe in a greater purpose. So why not reflect on your own birth date? If you were born on one of these days, perhaps you've already noticed divine signs in your life. It could be a skill that has always stood out, a path you followed without knowing why, or a sense that something greater is reserved for you. This opens the door to the next thought. What if the Bible also supports the idea that our birth dates carry a purpose chosen by God? When we look at the scriptures, we see that the Bible is filled with clues that our lives were planned by God even before we were born. One of the most powerful examples comes from Jeremiah 1 verse 5, where God declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." This passage clearly shows that nothing is accidental when it comes to our existence. This applies to our birth dates as well. Each one could be connected to our divine calling, as if these dates were a sign that we were chosen for something greater. Jesus also left clues about how our lives have a specific purpose. In Luke 15, he reminds us that we are so valuable to God that he leaves the 99 sheep to seek out the one that is lost. This act of seeking the lost reflects how important each life is in the divine plan, and our birth dates may be part of this design. As you think about your date, ask yourself, what has God planned for you from the beginning? You may find answers in the very scriptures where so many were called to fulfill great purposes. Many wonder if there's truly something special about their birth dates. But the truth is, the Bible is full of examples of people who were called to grand missions from birth. Whether it's Moses, whose life was marked by leading the people of Israel, or John the Baptist, who was called to prepare the way for Jesus, we see a pattern. If God had a purpose for them, wouldn't he have something special for you too? It's only a matter of time before you realize it. And when we start to connect our own lives with these teachings, everything seems to make more sense. Looking at birth dates through a biblical lens gives us a new perspective on how God is always at work. This leads us to reflect on what else the Bible has to say about numbers and dates. Is there even deeper meaning behind certain numbers that appear repeatedly? Numbers in the Bible carry a significance far beyond what we might imagine. A clear example of this is the number 7, symbolizing perfection and completion. From the creation of the world in 7 days to the use of the number in various prophecies, it reminds us that God works with a perfect plan. Those born on dates that contain numbers like 7 may feel a strong connection to this symbolism, living lives focused on seeking what is complete and divine. The number 7 appears so often in the scriptures that it's impossible to ignore its importance. It represents the completion of a cycle, the fullness of God's work. Think, for instance, of the 7 churches in Revelation, the 7 seals, or the 7 trumpets. Each of these references indicates that there's something special about this number. Those born on July 7th, for example, may carry with them a mission to bring order and perfection into their own lives and the lives of those around them. It's interesting to observe how people who have these significant dates in their lives tend to follow a path where the search for purpose is central. Biblical numerology, though not widely discussed, shows us that God pays attention to every detail, even numbers. This makes us wonder, what can the other numbers in Scripture tell us about our own lives? Are there more hidden clues within all these symbols? Understanding the spiritual meaning of numbers leads us to notice how our lives are shaped by these divine patterns. This makes us question how God uses these signs to guide our paths. Perhaps your birth date has even more to reveal about what is in store for you. And so we move on to something even more personal. Stories of people whose lives reflect this truth. Some people born on specific dates have fascinating stories that reflect traits like leadership, creativity, or healing abilities. Imagine someone born on December 25th, a day that carries powerful symbolism. This person's life may be marked by compassion and a strong desire to help others, mirroring the qualities we associate with this sacred day. It shows that there's more to a birth date than meets the eye. One story that illustrates this well is that of someone born on January 1st. From a young age, this person demonstrated leadership skills, always taking the lead in important decisions, both in family and work settings. They might not have understood why, but something always pulled them toward this role. Over time, they realized that their birth date was linked to this call to lead, which made them embrace the role with even more conviction. Another example is someone born on July 7th, a day loaded with spiritual symbolism. This person, from a young age, seemed to always strive for perfection in everything they did, from personal life to professional endeavors. The desire to achieve completeness in every task reflected the essence of the number 7, known for representing divine fullness. This person's life seemed like a journey in pursuit of the divine, always seeking to approach what is perfect. These stories make us reflect on our own birth dates. Do you also carry qualities associated with your birth date? Perhaps you've already noticed some patterns indicating this. And if you haven't yet, now might be the right time to start paying attention to these signs. After all, our birth dates may reveal something profound about our divine purpose, and the key might lie in how we seek spiritual guidance to decipher these signs. Many times, we wonder if there's something deeper in our lives beyond what we see. The answer could be right in front of us, hidden in the simplicity of our birth dates. Reflecting on what this date means spiritually is an invitation to explore a divine calling. Just like people born on special dates, you might be destined for something greater, and all you need is a moment of reflection and prayer to discover it. Seeking this divine guidance can start with a simple act, taking time to pray and ask for clarity on what your birth date means in God's plan. Imagine if, through reflection, you begin to notice patterns and events that indicate a greater purpose. This process of self-discovery can be deeply transformative. The very act of meditating on this is already a step toward understanding your unique calling. Some may feel lost, not knowing where to start. The practice of daily prayer and reflection can be the perfect starting point. You could, for example, set aside 5 minutes each day to give thanks for your journey so far and ask God to illuminate the path ahead. This habit, though simple, can open doors to profound revelations about who you are and what you are destined to achieve. Divine guidance is available to all who seek it. And just as so many have discovered their purpose through signs like their birth dates, you too can find answers by allowing God to guide your steps. And speaking of divine guidance, the next reflection takes us to an even more intriguing point: how the scriptures can help us understand this spiritual connection in depth. Now that you understand the power and purpose hidden in your birth date, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? God has given you valuable clues about your calling, and it's up to you to embrace this truth. Have you reflected on how these revelations can transform your life? And more importantly, are you ready to act on this new understanding? Think about the opportunities that may arise by aligning your life with the divine purpose. Don't let this chance slip away. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to keep diving into topics that could change your destiny. Together, let's explore further how God is revealing His plan for each of us.